The 3 O's you shouldn't be doing. It was a beautiful hot summer day back in 2006, and I was headed to the beach with a few friends of mine. We decided to stop at the store to buy something to drink. I wanted to drink a multivitamin powder-based drink that you mix with water, but it wasn't available on the go in bottles. You could just buy it in big packages to use at home. So I thought they're really missing a big market opportunity here, and maybe I could do something about it. After 2 weeks of experimenting in my garage, I had a first prototype. It was simple, but working. I did a brief patent search on the internet and couldn't find any solutions at the moment. So I was really excited. This was going to be the one idea that changes your life. And then my brain kicked in and said, this is just a prototype. It will be difficult to take it all the way to a final product. It had to be 3D designed, a mold had to be made. I surely had to use a different kind of plastic because of the food and beverage industry. It will be costly, you'll spend a lot of time. And I just said, I cannot do it. I better stop before I lose any more time or money with it. What actually happened here is I overthought the process, and my brain just served me 100 reasons why this wouldn't work. You see, we are in some way programmed to take the simpler path, and our educational system, and for most of us, our home education, just teaches us, think about it twice, because you could make a mistake and it could be costly. Unfortunately, this makes us fear mistakes, kills our initiatives, and lowers our bias toward action. Key traits I learned to be very valuable while being part of an educational startup named Croatian Makers that had developed the biggest STEM extracurricular activities platform in Europe in just a few years, mostly by being agile and making decisions quickly and sharply. Overthinking has a best friend, the second O, overcomplicating. Let's see if this has happened to you. You come home, it's late. It was a hard day at work, 8 p.m. You decided to unwind, relax, and watch a movie. But you didn't know which one. So you just started looking at trailers, and one trailer after the other. An hour later, you still haven't found the movie. Has this ever happened to you? Raise your hands if it did, even though I cannot really see you. Thanks. I thought I was the only one, so thank you very much. Overcomplicating. I remember our first project in Croatian Makers, our robotics league. We had 150 teachers that never programmed before, and we wanted to introduce them into programming and robotics, so they could introduce kids to STEM. I thought maybe a good way would be to make educational videos on step-by-step, how to program the robot, how to use it in class. Then the first idea was to go to a professional recording studio and make the recordings there, or at least to buy a high-quality camera and a good microphone and then shoot it. Luckily, I didn't have time for any of it. So I just downloaded a free recording software, used the best microphone I could find at home, and in a few hours, I had the first 3 videos. We decided to release them to the teachers and get their feedback. And guess what? They loved it. So we are at a really good point. They had educational materials they could use in their classroom, and we had the product we could build upon. It was a win-win. I learned a good lesson that day. Start simple, then build upon that. Overcomplicating goes very deeply in our society. It even affects the way we communicate. I'm sure all of you have read or maybe written a science or technology topic paper that had really long, exhausting, and boring sentences, full of words we never use in everyday life. After reading it, I often feel like it has just been a brief that would convey the information in a simple, clear, and easy to understand way. People often think that overthinking and overcomplicating in communication makes them sound smarter. But actually, quite the opposite is true. When we talk about overcomplicating and about success and about overthinking, there's one topic that really comes in mind, and this is making plans for success in life, writing down your ideas for success in life. So, if you've never done that and you decide to write down your goals, what usually happens is you go online and search for ways you should be doing on how you should be doing this. And then you find different numerous methodologies and ways and approaches. Writing special journals, making smart goals, making funny notes like this. But it looks very nice. So your focus easily shifts from what you had in mind, writing down goals, to thinking about how to do it. And today, focus easily shifts from content to procedures. What you really should be doing in focusing on the content itself and making it as simple as possible. So I have a challenge for you. Tonight, when you come home, take a blank piece of paper, and without thinking up front about it, just start writing down your goals with no procedure in mind. Write everything that comes in mind, the small goals and the big ones, the ones you think you can achieve at the moment, and the ones you would be able to go to grasp in the future. After you finish writing down the first paper, just take another blank paper and rewrite down your goals, from the ones that you feel are easy to achieve to the ones that really push you outside your comfort zone and make you grow. Remember, you can always start small and simple and then build upon that. Overcomplicating brings us to the third O. This one is overpromising. And this is particularly challenging because it makes us look like underachievers. Overpromising is hard to define because there is a fine line between making too big a promise to yourself or to others and making an ambitious goal that will actually make you grow. I'm sure all of you have been in this situation. I most certainly have. Imagine December 31st, New Year's Eve, a lot of resolutions, and you say, from tomorrow on, I'm gonna quit smoking. I'll eat healthier. I'll make more time for myself. I'll go to the gym. I'll find the love of my life. I'll go traveling. You just continue the list. And then a day after it, or two at most, you find yourselves quitting. The key thing here are not the goals you set there. The key problem is how you go about their realization. Has anybody ever been to a running school? Hands up, running school? Nobody? Okay. When you come to a running school on the first day, you come there and they say, in 4 months, you're gonna run half a marathon. And you're like, seriously? Half a marathon in 4 months, impossible. But then the coach says, today we'll be running 500 meters. And you're like, okay, I can do that. And then the second time you come in, we'll be running 700 meters, a kilometer. And everything is doable. And then after a few months, you're really running good. And after 4 months, bam, 70% of the people finish the half marathon. If you were just to look at the goal, it would be problematic. But change should come in small and meaningful steps. Let me share a story of my own about under-promising and over-delivering and how it changed my life. I was searching for a job in engineering education back in 2013, and I wrote a few emails to a few friends of mine. And a colleague of mine called me back and said they needed an educator in the field of microcontroller programming and Arduinos. Arduino is a quite well-known platform to learn electronics and digital electronics and programming, but I've never used it before. As it was a phone call and I needed to make a decision on spot, I didn't have time to overthink it. So I said yes, but I didn't overpromise. I said, I'll do my best. 4 days before the workshop, the first Arduino that I ever see in life comes in. I ordered it and hoped that it would arrive because I couldn't find it in Zagreb anywhere. So I decided I don't have a lot of time and I should really document what I'm doing so it will help me in holding the workshop. 2 days before the workshop, I have a small script that documents on how I learned the Arduino. And then a key moment happens. I decide that I underpromised, and now it was time to take a few small but meaningful steps and overdeliver. I transformed the booklet that I had into a script that everybody could use to learn Arduino. I printed out the booklet for everybody. I came to the workshop, and it passed greatly. Not only that, but I had a lot more workshops that year and ended up freelancing full-time for the agency and taught more than 1,000 professors on how to use the Arduino. Later on that year, I wrote the first book in Croatian on Arduino, Arduino in Simple Examples, and it was sold in 100 copies on the first day it came out. After a while, I realized that this really was a big point in my life because it enabled me to make my dream job come true, to work in engineering education, to join the Croatian Makers team, and give the teachers and the kids the opportunity to learn about robotics, to learn about technology, to get in STEM. But most importantly, to change their mindsets from, I cannot do it, I'd better stop, to yes, I can, and I'll do it. And for the end, a bonus for you. Overstaying your welcome. You should never do that. And as I have a big timer here, I better listen to my own advice. Thank you very much for your attention, and remember, keep it simple and just go for it.